Welcome back. I'm your host, Louis Rossman. Today, we've got another day of MacBook logic board repair. I just want to say thank you to two separate people in this video. The first is to Global Industrial. I got this letter from Global Industrial. So, it's apparently they must watch some of my videos. It says, "Hi, we are sorry for the delays in shipping and the issues you have had with your order. Just in case Eugene left any mess behind, we have something on the way to help with that and to keep the place looking new. Congrats on the new store." They sent me some floor buffer scrubber cleaning thing, so thank you. That's very much appreciated. We may be going back to Global Industrial to get some more shelves that are more designed for laptop repair in general, for laptop, for storing laptops. I've heard that you have a couple of shelves, so maybe we'll check them out, see what they're like. Put a couple of them on the channel so that if anybody else has a laptop repair company like ours, they know where to get their stuff from and which one would be good to get, because right now even I don't know what's good to get. And also there was a gentleman that actually sent in this Stream Deck here from Elgato. And I'm not going to read the note that came with it because it was a little private and a little personal, but I've been there too, trust me, and I hope that things do get better for you. They have gotten better for me. You find something that gives you purpose, find something that to work towards. So find something where, as you're doing work, you feel like you're providing something, you're getting somewhere, you're building something, even if it's not giving you monetary value in the here and now. If it's something that you feel is worth doing, it'll help you get out of that funk. So thank you very much for this. I'm probably going to set this up and have two of them so that it's easier for me to work with. I just got to figure out how I'm setting up the desk and everything in the office. But just want to say thank you so much to everybody who watches these videos, shares this stuff, gets involved, fixes something, gets people involved in what it is we enjoy doing. Thank you. Let's get started and see what's wrong with this MacBook. So here it looks like we have a model A1706 MacBook Pro. And if you zoom in on this thing, it's looking ugly, folks. Look at this. Oh, it's gross. Absolutely disgusting. Look at that. Spooge. This is around the PP3V42 input circuit. Nothing is destroyed. Even though there's corrosion, nothing is actually destroyed there. The charge port, on the other hand, that's got to go. Yeah, so this person's going to need themselves a new charge port. I'm not reusing that. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. Spread my Mac and fly away. I believe I can soar robustly through that open door. Let's get that thing out of there. I didn't realize just how spoiled I'd become by not having to watch ads. It was around 2004 when I found Usenet that I stopped having to watch advertisements. I would have been willing to pay for television, but they didn't have a way for me to pay for to get television online in a manner that made sense, where it was mine and I could transfer it to a drive and watch it on a different device at my convenience. So I remember using Usenet for television and not having to watch ads anymore. I just kind of got used to it, and then I stopped watching TV altogether. I got involved with my business. I kind of phased out of TV in 2010 and 11. When I think the last show I finished watching was 24. Most TV shows I watch now, it's genuinely boring. It's not a form of entertainment that I find interesting, in contrast to reality or, stuff that you could find on YouTube where it's real people speaking that are not pretending to be something they're not. At least, if they're pretending to be something that they're not, they want you to believe that that's who they are. It's not just made up shit. I forgot what it was like to watch advertisements on television, when you just turn on channel 5 or 7. And I saw this ad where this woman was talking about how I worked for Bloomberg and we did a project and he let me put my name on it. I worked for Michael Bloomberg and he was a champion of women. Michael Bloomberg's a good guy. I'm Michael Bloomberg and I approve this message. It always makes me kind of laugh when people say that he's buying the election. Because in order for him to buy the election, you have to assume people are stupid enough to listen to those ads and think, wow, he really is nice to women. And it's funny because they had what I can only imagine to be an Apple loop and Logic playing in the background for the music. It's like, it was the most generic little ding 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 playing in the background. Regardless of whether you like the guy, it's really curious. I'm genuinely curious. Do advertisements like that actually change anybody's opinion towards yes, no, or the other? Does it do anything? I mean, are people that the only thing I could think the entire time I was getting a haircut yesterday, because I was getting bombarded with Bloomberg ads, is does anybody listen to this and hear the ding 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 dun 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 in the background while someone's saying, I worked for him and he was nice to me. I'm Michael Bloomberg and I approve this message. Does that actually affect opinions? Does that sway how anyone thinks? Does it change their minds about anything? It just seems like such a fucking waste of money. I mean, I guess the people that are getting paid to, record the sets and everything and say all that shit are probably quite happy. But I'm always very interested when people say that stuff like that, corrupts the democratic process. Because by all means, the Charlie Brownish kind of stuff, and kind of does. I think it does. You see the results of it. It clearly does. But ads like that, that's a joke. They don't really work. I don't think they work. I saw this one Trump ad, and it actually inspired my CompTIA ad. It was the one where you hear the dudes on CNN talking, and they're laughing about the Boomer Rube duo, and damn it, they're maps. And it's got this really dark, somber music in the background, and at the end of the ad, you have, they think you're a joke. Prove them wrong in November. I mean, I don't even like Trump. I think he's kind of a jackass. But I that ad was damn. That ad made me feel something. It wasn't this wimpy, stupid, ridiculous shit. And I actually, when I saw that ad, that was kind of what inspired the CompTIA ad that I made. I'll admit it was kind of like a ripoff of that ad. I'm not a creative person myself. I'm really not. But when I watched that ad, it's not like it's going to change my opinion one way or the other of the person. But it's damn, you got me to think something there. Or feel something, I should say, not think. That ad was shit. The Bloomberg ad I saw yesterday was just absolute, utter trash. I mean, the people who decided to make the ad, it was bad just all the way around. The acting seemed fake. The premise was shitty. So people said that he's mean to women. How can we fix that? Let's get women to say he was nice to women on camera, to this ding 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 ding. You could just see somebody with their shitty little ukulele or whatever playing it in the background. That style of advertising music needs to die, by the way, because I've seen it in a lot of shit. Those websites where they're showing you the feature of their new app, or all those startup companies where they're showing you how their product works, and it's a ding dang ding Like, you know what I'm talking about. I'm doing a bad job of emulating it, but it's fucking aggravating. It made me really grateful that I don't watch ads anymore. To paraphrase Scott Galloway, there was one thing that he said, which is, I'm missing it here a little bit, but the ads are for people that either are poor or don't know how to pirate stuff, I think. Something like that. Like, ads are for the poor or the technologically illiterate. It's like, all right, so we have 340 milliamps here, which may be turning on. All right, so we got 340 milliamps being taken here, but I'm kind of curious if we get a picture on the screen. That's interesting. PP bus is 0 volts, while we're taking 340 milliamps, which means most likely we have a short to ground on PP bus G3 hot, which is our main power rail. Or my multimeter is just not touching it right. Never mind. Yeah, 5.6 ohms to ground. So now we just got to figure out what it is that is 5 ohms to ground. And whatever it is should be getting really, really warm, because 340 milliamps at 20 volts is going to be, what is it, like 5 watts around there? It's enough that it's going to be noticeable, I'll tell you that much. So let's get the board out without ripping this stupid fragile little cable. Now the shorted cap is going to be the nastiest looking one. Let's see if it's this. Sunny's here. Five ohms, still shorted. $1,000 ohms. Okay, so it was the cap on the top, not the cap on the bottom. So now we can replace it, and we'll likely see this thing turn on with an image. It's going to be a happy little MacBook. All it needed was its corrosion cleaned and its shorted capacitors removed and replaced with better working ones. Can never get things looking as nice with tweezers as I can with a little bit of hot air and flux. You'll see how that slides into place a little nicer. OCD. Can't just leave well enough alone. It's not good enough that the cap be on the board, making good contact. Gotta make sure that it's flowed into the exact right place. Or else it'll trigger me. And bother me. I won't be able to sleep at night knowing that this thing is out there in the wild like that. If it's cap on wrong. I actually have problems at night sleeping on a regular basis, knowing there are people out there that still buy these products. But let's at least control the things that I can control. That pad has junk on it because I'm not able to get a nice round solder joint on the top. There are parts of it that are still gravelly. It's not showing up as well in the microscope. Maybe it's glare. Maybe the glare is doing it, but I'm going to file it a little bit with some wick. And now I can put a new capacitor there. That's one way to see it, Andre. If people didn't buy these products, maybe I wouldn't have my channel. Maybe I would have my channel. I'd just be doing something else. Buffang repair. And I always wanted to be a therapist when I was younger. Maybe I'd have a channel about talking about my life as a therapist. Who knows? There's all sorts of things that you can do with your life. You don't just have to be one-trick pony. There's lots of problems in the world that need solving. This is just one of them. And once this is no longer a problem, we can work on something else. I do have a life plan for something else to take on after I'm done with Apple products and Right to Repair. Once Right to Repair is done and this company's done everything that it's going to do, there's something far, like millions of times worse than Apple that I'd like to put my time and effort into taking on. But that's going to require a lot more money, resources, time, and balls than this does. So I'm kind of testing myself. If I'm able to make an effect on Right to Repair and also am able to run this company properly, then I'll have earned the right to start going after the issues I really care about. But I can't talk about those because if I talk about them before I start getting it done, then they won't get done. All right, so it's up to 20 volts, and it's taking 560 milliamps and 520 milliamps. So it has a different power signature now, which tells me there's a chance that we get an image. I'm fairly certain that PP Bus G3 Hot is going to be 13 volts now. Okay, the screen's turning on. PP Bus is 13.05 volts. It's trying to load something here. I imagine it's awaking from sleep, as you can see from the little progress indicator there, which means that we have a working MacBook. So the problem that we had here was that there was a lot of corrosion on the board right around the PP Bus G3 Hot area and the PP342_G3 Hot area. I thought when I removed a lot of the stuff that looked corroded from there that I had fixed my problem, but I hadn't. There was still 2 corroded capacitors on PP Bus G3 Hot. I replaced those capacitors, I removed the short circuit, and now the board is working. One of the ways that you can kind of get an idea of what's happening is, again, having a USB-C amp meter. With the older MacBooks, I just cut the end off of the charger and plug it into a power supply so that I could see how much amperage it's taking. That's how I tell. And with these machines, I just have an Apple OEM charger here that I got from Best Buy. Makes me sick. Tim Cook made money off of me there. I prefer that he not. But this over here, this is a little USB-C ammeter you can get from store.rossmangroup.com. I use the cheap ones, not the expensive ones, because the cheap ones honestly do just they do just fine for me. You can get fancy schmancy ones with all these color displays and shit, and it'll tell you all the stuff that's going on with the protocol and all that crap. But it doesn't really do much for me. I just use this cheap little piece of shit over here, and it does the job very well. And it shows me the amperage that the machine's taking cheaply. So when I see 200 to 300 milliamps, PP Best G3 hot short. 500, and especially when it's static, that's something to keep in mind. Because as it's booting, the CPU is going to use more power, less power, RAM, more power, less power. It's going to be dynamic as it's moving back and forth. Whereas when you have the shorted capacitor, it's just, think of a shorted capacitor just like a coil for a heater. It's just going to take virtually the same amount of power. Like once you turn it on and get it going, it's just bam. So that's why you had that static 320 to 350 milliamps, just 350 milliamps static, 350, 350, 350, 350, not 510, 520, 506, but it's not doing this. And that tells me that I have a short circuit. And as you do this, the most important part of this job really is pattern recognition, because all these tools that I'm showing you, they're only useful if your mind is aligned and calibrated to focus on patterns, recognize patterns. Because if you can recognize patterns, this is really the job for you. This is not about knowing about coulombs and theorems and equations and advanced theory. This is really just about having a detective's mind for problem solving and a little bit of problem solving skills. Also, I'll see y'all in the next video.